I will get technical support.
Yeah, see if they've got because that is. That's not what he's looking for, is it?
No. That would be very easy if you want.
That's a lovely portable PC. I don't know. Roughly like a 30-second thing.
Your elevator pitch, you're familiar with what that concept is, right?
Well, I've never really done anything like this before, but
So if you get in an elevator, and you find out you're standing next to a billionaire who is particularly interested in exactly what you do, between the time those doors close and you get to the top floor, what do you say to that person so that they are really interested in what's going on?
well, I would probably say something like,
Don't tell us. That's what you're going to do your first 30 seconds.
yeah,
See, and the objective being get us to want to, talk to you some more.
all right.
So,
Well, I run a small biotech company that makes very high quality
so that's
reagents.
you started.
I've started.
Okay,
I
go.
mean,
He's
I
timing
run-
it.
30 seconds.
I run a small biotech company that makes very high quality reagents that OEM supplies numerous other companies, and I want to expand this company to sell more directly and not go through OEM suppliers. And that's probably only 30 seconds, right?
15. So you mean that? So why do you need some money?
Well, I basically need money in order to expand and increase our direct sales to researchers and clinicians around the world. See, I hadn't really thought about this before. But,
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, yeah, that was not that.
all right.
So continue on, and I get
Hang on a second. You
Yeah.
good?
Did you request help?
We got it.
we got it.
We're good to go. Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So continue on. You're now in your 12-minute expanded presentation.
All right. There's other things that nice. All right. So this is what my company does. We make antibodies to proteins. I'm a university professor. I'm about to retire. I also run this small biotech company, and these are the people who helped me on the way. This is my advisor as a PhD student, Dennis Bray in London. These are the people I did the postdoc with in Germany, and these are good friends of mine in Germany who also started a successful biotech company and are now retired. This is the story of the company, and just briefly, as I said, I was a student in London, I was a postdoc in Germany. I learned how to make antibodies there. Key thing happened in 1986 when I came to Florida, because I wasn't allowed to take the antibodies I'd made in Germany with me, so I set up in Gainesville to do them. And I started making antibodies there, and as you can see, I made first commercial contacts about 1989. During the 1990s, whenever I got involved in a new project, I think, well, I could make an antibody to that, and I could market it, and more of these antibodies were going through big biotech companies that sell antibodies. And so I decided to start my own company. Initially in 1999, 2002, I changed the name to Encore Biotechnology and moved into the BDI. And the company has been quite successful. I graduated from the BDI in 2006. And the basic thing that the company does is it makes antibodies. So antibodies, as most of you know, are a part of our immune system. If you inject an animal with a purified protein, it will make an antibody response to that protein. So basically you're hoodwinking the animal into thinking that it's been infected by a bacteria or a pathogen, because the immune system recognizes very specifically co-proteins of things like bacteria. And if you put in a pure protein into an animal, it can make a very specific antibody response to that protein, and that's an extremely useful tag for research purposes and clinical purposes. So, just briefly, I was very lucky to be involved in a project in about 1987, where we discovered that this protein is a major component of the pathological lesions of Alzheimer's disease, and this is one of the first antibodies that I commercialised, and sales of this have been in millions of dollars now, and it's quite well known around the world. And that really got me into realising that there was some business opportunity here. Then in the research lab, we made antibody to this protein, and it's the green stain here. So basically, we did our research projects in it and froze the cell line away. And until I started my own company, it basically didn't do anything for more than a decade. But now we're selling an awful lot of it. And this is another example of this kind of thing. I actually got a small grant from the University of Florida to commercialise some of our antibodies and asked to make some new ones. And we made this particular one. So we actually published peer-reviewed publications on this showing that it was a really good marker for regenerating neurons. So this is a control and this is a lesion animal, and these are neurons. It then turned out that this antibody could be used diagnostically, post-mortem in this case, a particular kind of brain disease which is basically defined by this particular antibody. So I sort of began to realise that I could feed off my scientific interests and my commercial interests at the same time, as it amounts to. So just briefly, who uses these antibodies? Well, mostly researchers use them. So cell type markers will mark different kinds of cells in the nervous system. Structures, and like this particular antibody marks nucleoli. Markers of differentiation, those are very important nowadays since people are working on stem cells. And there are some people who are interested in a particular protein and want an antibody tag for that protein. So the biggest markets are these, actually, where people are using an antibody to just identify some particular structure or some particular cell type. So that's researchers. Pathologists, as I said, pathologists can use them diagnostically and for research. So as I said, we have this good antibody for neurofibrillary tangles. And then physicians potentially can use these antibodies too. So we're getting more and more into this biomarker research where you can track the disease state or diagnose a disease state. If you're going to do that, research only use is no problem. We've already got some kits where we're selling research only reagents. If you want to use it on patients more diagnostically, then you have to go through the FDA, which we haven't done up to now. And then finally, therapeutics. There's humanized monoclonal antibodies are now being used for as drugs, basically, in patients. That's very much more difficult. Obviously, in that case, you have to have a reagent which is known to be safe and known to be effective with its multi-year progress to go through the FDA. But ultimately, we might get into something like that. So these are some pictures of what the antibodies do. This is our antibody which stains nucleoli. This one recognizes neurons specifically. And these were made in Alachua in the first 2 hours there. About 12 minutes. These are some other examples. These are markers of astrocytes and fibroblasts. So there are two antibodies, a green one and a red one. And you can see that some cells are just red and some are green and some have both, so they come out yellow. Here's another example. This is a marker of microglial cells, which people are very interested in clinically because they're involved in brain inflammation. And there's some other examples of a marker of nuclear pore complexes and so on. So who sells them? So most of what we sell is OEM at the moment. So these are the major companies that we deal with. So our biggest market is actually Abcam and Millipore, but we deal with all these other guys. And we also obviously sell directly. And as I said at the beginning, we're sort of beginning to realise that it makes more sense to increase the direct sales to researchers rather than go through these OEM suppliers. Here's our income. So up to the third quarter of 2012. So you see that we have some income from contracts and grants. this year we've got some more grants coming in, but they haven't come in just yet. So you can see we're probably going to end up somewhere close to $1 million in income for 2012, which is not too bad, you know. And this is the share of antibodies that we're selling right now. So about 30% Abcam, about 30% Millipore. These other companies are 5, 10 or less percent, and there's about 12 or 15% something direct. So as I said, the intention is to kind of grow this bit because we basically make more profit from that. So this is the lab. It's actually Interstate Office Park. It's on Fredbear Drive. It's 2 of the units there, 2,800 square feet total. We've got all the equipment that we need to make these antibodies and purify them. And we're actually not paying for electricity because we've got solar panels on the roof. So actually that generates money each year rather than costs money. And I actually own the units, so the rent is negotiable since I'm basically paying myself. I've got 3 full-time employees now, 2 part-time and myself. So that's a total of 3 PhDs. And what's the foreseeable future? Well, just making more of the same kinds of, I call them high-value products. The internet site needs serious work. We never really did any advertising except for the internet site, so we're going to get into that. We're doing this biomarker stuff, as I said, that's potentially very, a lot of interest to a lot of people. Increased grant and contract portfolio. I'm actually retiring from UF at the end of the year. I'm a bit earlier than I would do otherwise. I'm actually almost 60. And I got to the state where having to go into UF every day has just got to be a distraction. You know, it's just too much work, basically, doing 2 things at once. So this is kind of why I'm here now. So I'm wondering about raising capital to expand. I actually probably don't really need to, but I thought I'd better, at least learn about it. I don't have a board of directors. I have to fill in this form every year about, the board of directors meeting. There's only me that signs it. So then ultimately what happens, we go public, we get acquired, and strengths and weaknesses, it's probably good to do that. So we're an established company. We've been in business for about 10 years now. We do have lots of OEM contracts and making a profit. The reason why we're successful, I think, is because we actually do a very good job of characterizing the material that we have, whereas most companies, anybody who works in biotechnology will tell you that there are several companies that hardly ever produce anything that works. We know that our stuff works because we tested it and we made it ourselves. I think this is true. I've got a pretty good idea about what's likely to sell well in the future. With imaging, I'll show you some images. A lot of our images have been used by other biotech companies, and we have got real cutting-edge imaging equipment, microscopes, and we've got the best confocal microscope in Gainesville, actually. I've got reasonably good contacts with people in academia and industry. We've got the biomarker thing coming up, and we have weaknesses too. I mean, basically everything's been me up till now, and I don't have any business experience. Competition is increasing as China and India are getting into this kind of stuff. And there's been obviously this economic crisis that's going to impact future research funding. I mean, as you saw from the graph, we're growing reasonably progressively, but that could change. And finally, at the end, this is what BDI had for my company when we were there. And there's a picture of me, that's one of my microscopes. That was the only time, in the entire time I was at the BDI, that I wore a black lab coat, actually.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Yeah, I did have it, yeah. And I guess that's basically it. How long was that then?
I didn't think fun.
I started you late, so you're probably under 12 minutes.
Oh, all right.
Jerry, what did you present last year? You went to a different company last year, didn't you? Was it right at the start when the hub first opened? I'm looking at Jane because she went there. Was it the same thing?
I've never presented this
I've seen you present, and I don't remember.
I think, well, I presented something like this at Gain a few, like, probably 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't know why I've seen you present that, because I definitely remember seeing it, but it doesn't matter. Ignore everything I said. You don't feedback on the presentation? Probably should. I think you need to decide what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much a, here's what I'm doing, presentation. You have a great presentation style, very, very good conversation style, and you probably know it. But if you have to decide what you want to do, because you're not going to make me really excited to give you money if you're saying, I can take money from it. Right. Or maybe I'll just run it myself. We'll see. So I think the first thing I think you have to do, and it sounds very simple, but decide what you want to do, because that, you have to want to be what, you have to really want to be what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's, this is either a great, and I use this term not in a derogatory way, this is a great beer and peanut business for you to make plenty of money as a sole proprietor, and you could be very happy with that. Or this might be business where, you know what, I'm sort of doubling down, and I'm going to make this really big, or by the way, I might lose everything, because that's the life of an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who go into those two things are very different people. So when you sort of hedge between the two,
Yeah.
that instantly says, well, okay, they're not committed in the field that I'm interested in, because I don't give money to beer and peanut businesses, because I can't make it back. Nothing wrong with them, they're great businesses. They just don't lend themselves to it. So your first step is you have to decide what it's going to be. And if it is you as the sole proprietor with your business making $1 million a year, it's phenomenal, that's great, but then you shouldn't be presenting here for money. What I would suggest you're presenting for there is sort of a board of advisors, some kind of business advisory, maybe it's board of directors, but something, because I think that could still help your company.
Well, that's good.
I had a whole bunch of sort of detailed comments, but things like, my first question would be, you've been in business 10 years, $800,000 in revenue now. If I'm going to give you $1 million, whatever the number is, show me how that will make a step change, not just in the revenue, but in the growth of the revenue.
Okay.
So if I'm going to put $1 million into this business, I need to be able to make at least 10 back. And so, unless you're going to give me half your business, it has to sell for probably $50 or $60 million. And that's not going to happen if it has $1.5 million, $2 million, $3 million in revenue. It's just not going to get there.
Okay.
So it's not just, as I said, one-time revenue gain, but it's the fact that I'm going to grow exponentially as well to get to be worth $50 million, $100 million. You had a bunch of pictures of it. You didn't tell me there's any. You didn't show me why there's any value in making those pictures. They're very cool. But do people buy them? I mean, is there any money in it other than, $300 for a nice picture? And similarly with the antibodies, there was some great antibody stuff there. But show me the market relevance. Show me that if I can develop this antibody, the market size for this is $75 million a year, as opposed to it being. So you say Alzheimer's, and instantly I think big money. But for some of the others, I have no idea.
Right.
So you have to really focus on making it really relevant to why I can make a lot of money from it as an investor. And also, by the way, why you're going to be such a good steward of my money. And care about me more than you. Only because you're in line after me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be right there. Similarly, along those same lines, it's very laid back and casual, and I like that. But to say, well, I'm retiring from UF because I'm kind of tired, so I'm going to run the company. If you're retiring from UF, it's because this opportunity is so phenomenally good, I'm giving up my tenure there to go and bet on this.
Did I say it was time for you?
I'm tired of going in and running these two things.
And it's a distraction.
Distracted, yeah.
Yeah.
It came across as I'm retiring early, so I think I'm going to go do that.
Yeah.
It boils down to deciding what you're going to be, an intense commitment to make this thing huge.
Okay.
Or it's not going to be, and it's going to be my business, and what I really want is guidance and input.
Well, I mean, as you probably realise, that's basically what I want right now, and that's why I'm here. I mean, what you said is, very valuable, and I never really thought about making my company into like $100 million company or something like that. But that's something I should probably start thinking about.
If the market may or may not be there, I don't know what the reagent market is.
I've done a bit of research, and Outcam is probably the biggest company that sells these antibodies, and they make about 170 million a year.
And how are you better?
How am I better? Well, I think anything that we make, they put straight in their catalogue, and the reason is because we have very good images. These are some big images that we've made, and they're actually, take my word for it, they're actually much better than most of the images that these other companies have.
So why does that Outcam care about those images?
Well, if you go to like a neuroscience meeting where Outcam is presenting stuff, they often have my images on their poster boards, and most of the time they don't say they got them from me, but I know where they got them from. I haven't bothered to copyright them, no, but maybe I should start doing that. And you could, I could probably, as you said, maybe just sell them as works of art or something.
I think I would put one on my wall.
That's
You don't need
amazing.
you if you do that.
I think you need,
Michael Davidson,
you either need to turn into a businessman, or you need to get a business person to come run your business. And that doesn't mean you give up your company,
yeah.
but I think you have something here that's interesting that makes you money. And actually capturing the most value from it may not be, certainly not what you've done to date.
Mm-hmm.
And you may or may not be good at it if you start doing that now. But, and again, it depends on what you want to do. If you just enjoy doing this and it makes you $1 million a year, it's great. If you care about how much money it makes, or if you care about how many people use your reagents and everything, global dominance and things like that, then you should definitely look to say, how do I bring business counsel into this business?
Okay.
Of this entity.
I think that board of directors or advisors, even board of advisors of business people is a very good idea.
They're good until you say, yeah, that's great, but I'm going fishing this weekend, and then any good advisor will say, well, that's great. I'll see what takes
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I agree with everything Richard said. I think presumption is when you make a pitch like this, that you're seeking something, whether it be money or guidance, and I think you gotta you're competing against a bunch of other companies doing the same thing. And regardless of what you're seeking, I think you gotta give a compelling reason why they should go with you. If you're seeking to 100x your company, then you got to give a compelling reason why that's doable. If maybe you just want to slowly grow your company, then whether you want just a small amount of cash to make that happen, or just advice, then there too, I think you need to give a compelling reason why that person should help you. Because even if all you want is advice, if you're not really gung-ho about what you're doing, well, no one wants to help a company that's just going to kind of, casually get down the road. It's not much reason for me to help you. One thing you have, in any case, very strong in your favor is you've got a track record. You're selling product you've been doing for a while. You obviously know the market because you're very successful in selling product into it.
To some major customers.
Yeah, major customers. The majority of people that are going to be here will not be able to say it. Most of them will be wishing that they had some track record. They've got a hypothesis that they can do that in the future. But the fact that you, in fact, have been selling successfully, that means that if your goal was, hey, I want to make this company 10 times bigger, then okay, show me, and then if you show us a story from, this year to the next year, man, the fact you got that initial step is huge. But you got to give me a compelling reason want to step in.
Well, as I said, I've got to focus my thoughts on this.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, I did look at what Outcome was doing. They have something like 40,000 different antibodies, so they get antibodies from all over the place, so they make some themselves as well. So that's one kind of example of this kind of company. There's another company, Cell Signaling Technology, which was actually founded by this friend of mine who sold it to, well, it was originally called Transduction Labs. He sold it to Cell Signaling Technology. Basically what they do is that they're more like what I've been doing, just making a relatively few antibodies, but making sure that every single one is really good. And so they developed, obviously they advertise a lot more than I've ever done, but they developed very faithful customers who come, they'll buy one thing from when they realise it works, and then they'll buy some other reagent when they know that this company can be trusted to produce some decent stuff. And I don't know how big they are. I'm not sure I can find that out, but I would guess that maybe 5 million a year or something like that. So
How much did they sell the company for?
I don't know. I think it was about 25 million. But so I can do research on that. But, so those are the two models. The relatively small number of things that you've got absolute confidence in. Or Outcome gets all this OEM stuff from all these people and from research labs, and they basically have a kind of eBay kind of situation where, or an Amazon situation where people will put feedback on different antibodies, and your antibody goes up and down the list depending on how people rate it, which is actually quite an interesting model.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think, if you want to grow this as a business, you have to look at the value chain and see where the value creation is. Because my gut will tell me, knowing nothing about the economics of the business, my gut will tell me that the chance to make sort of extraordinary returns from not building a distribution business. Typically that's relatively marginal. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not extraordinary. And the value here would be in proprietary antibody development and being really good at that. That would be my guess. So if you are looking to significantly grow the company, to make the pitch that that's really to be a direct seller is a hard one to make. Because I'm going to look at you and say, well, why are you best? It's really an execution risk type of business. If it's because I can go and identify antibodies that have tremendous value, that would be much more of a fit to me on the face of it with your background and where you come from. And also where typically you would see extraordinary value creation.
Okay, if I wanted to really go into something really extraordinary value potential creation, I'd probably want to do some of this biomarker stuff where people are using it diagnostically or prognostically. We're into that a little bit. Or, as I said, there's the therapeutic thing. The therapeutic thing, you need millions of dollars.
And that's a very long pathway, I hear you. But yeah, that may well be it. But I think putting some thought into that ahead of time and making decisions around that, because particularly when you get into diagnostic and therapeutics, when you start to need a bit more investment as well.
Right.
Jerry, I probably know more about your business than I'm supposed to, but at one time you had filed a patent on actually a method of producing these antibodies more efficiently, effectively.
I didn't actually file a patent. I filed some IP on that. And we've been doing that method actually. And we didn't patent it. I don't know.
So you kept it as a trade secret?
Yeah. So it actually works reasonably well.
And that is one of your competitive advantages, is that correct?
Well, potentially. We did file a patent on a blood test for axonal injury based on one of the pair of antibodies that we made in the company. And that's been quite successful actually. So we have the kit that we market, and we've sold about $120,000 worth of those in the last couple of years. not a huge amount, but considering we haven't really done any advertising or anything, it's not too bad.
Did they give you a template for your presentation ahead of time?
They did, yeah.
Okay. So what I'd like to suggest, all the things that Richard is telling you, if you look at that template, it will help you start to develop your thoughts more on where you want to go as a business. And there's a group at UF called Gator Nest. You could probably even bring in a couple of marketing interns who would do the work for free, who would help do some of the market analysis and look at barriers to entry, distribution channels, etc., and really help. But I would even go back to that template, because it's a pretty good template that a lot of companies use when they're trying to figure out where they want to go. Just throwing that out.
That was Gator Nest, you said?
Yes.
Gator Nest?
Gator Nest.
Gator Nest.
But you don't even have to go to them. There's 50,000 students over there, and since 50% of them after graduation still don't have jobs, everybody's recognizing I need an internship. I need to get some real life experience. So companies like yours are in the best position ever to have brilliant students work for nothing. And I'm happy that you've got my contact information. I'm happy to put you in touch with some of those resources if that's of interest to you.
Yeah, sure.
I thought the intro was valuable, at least to set the stage for me as a layperson. And the idea that you're making $1 million a year and you haven't really focused on the business aspects and marketing aspects. That says a lot.
Oh, I do have another comment. You got to change the title. Starting a biotech company when you really have no idea how to do it isn't going to get you to stroke a check.
I missed that.
Show the title, it's great. Starting a biotech company when you have no idea how to do it.
Except, this goes to our presentation style. You can say that if you can then have people walking out of the room saying, this guy's so good he can joke about it.
And the fact is,
so I like that.
Successful anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you
depending
do
on the
that,
definition of success.
increasing sales every year, a lot of companies can't say that.
So I actually like it, but I think it goes down to me to deciding what you want to be and if you can. I mean that, to my mind, and I hear you, Jane, but I actually, even though I completely missed it, if I see that up on the screen, that should make me pay attention and say, this guy's either a total disaster or he's really confident about it. In fact, he can convince me and I'm going to pay attention to it.
Well, the other fact is that it's very hard to read with that background.
That I completely agree with. That's my excuse.
That's why you missed it.
Actually, that was...
You're at the back of your presentation, so just scroll about. Let it go there.
This is actually a presentation I gave that we probably went to like 4 or 5 years ago. And there I really actually had no idea what I was doing. So I haven't been doing all doing it now, but still basically, I have no background in business.
Yeah, I mean, let's make the presumption that you said that your story really is, I'm tired of this UF deal, I'm going to go out and make myself a gazillionaire. Okay? And you can start off with that and say, this is where I started. We've been making money. I've got this new plan. We're going to turn this into a $100 million company. This is what I'm going to do. I'm leaving UF, and this is how we're going to make it happen. In that context, it's a good story. And you got a lot of your slides there are very good. I mean, the fact that you can show all those companies, say this is who you sell to, and you have been. That's a strong message.
I think that
If you wanted to do that. It sounds like I'm not sure that you do.
understand the pros and cons of making that decision.
Yeah.
Because if that decision is made, this is the Jerry Shaw show right now. If you want to turn this into a $100 million business or whatever it is, if you want to turn this into an investable but an outside investable business, and I you also then have to address, well, how do I institutionalize this so that when I get hit by a bus, the business doesn't even notice? Right now, it's,
I said that with the presumption that probably isn't not what you want to do.
Get hit by a bus, you mean?
Turn it a $100 million company, and there are other maybe strong indications or other factors that won't allow that to happen. By just putting, just creating a.
So I think there's two things. One is just selling the reagents, which, if ever it got as big as our account, that would only be like 150 million or something, 170 million, I think it's per year. The other thing is the potential for diagnostics and clinical use. And there it might make sense to start a spin-off company which was just focused on that. That's one thing I was kind of thinking of actually. And then, I can have board of directors and advisors doing that. And then I've got the original company basically to fall back on if this, venture capital thing screws up,
and I can tell you now that if you have a safety net, I'm not interested.
That's right. I want your life on the line.
Oh, right.
Well, either that or I want your safety net. How's that?
Right.
You sign over your safety net, you'll put it into the company.
Okay.
That's the
Do
challenge.
you think seriously that nobody would invest if they knew that I had people? What if they didn't know that I had people?
Well,
No.
maybe you'd be fine. Nothing is ever binary, but the key is that no sane person will ever be an entrepreneur. How's that? Start with that logic. And I want to know that you are more committed to my success than I am, because you're there and you control the keys to that business. And I need you to be totally paranoid about whether that business succeeds or not.
Okay.
Because if you can say, it just is too hard or it's not working, I'm just going to go here to my other side business that makes $1 million a year. That's a pretty easy decision to make. You don't have to get too disappointed and too stressed to make that decision in my mind. And if you do that, I am completely left out to dry. And so you have to sort of put yourself in the other person's shoes and think about everything from that. Now, then again, if the offer is so compelling, that's what I'm saying, it's never binary. If the offer is so compelling, I may even be willing to take that risk. But what you're doing is hurting either the negotiation of the value or your share of it in that discussion for what you're going to get. So it's always a balance, but the biggest thing is decide what you're creating.
Right. The investor knows that the majority of the companies that he has the opportunity to invest in, the vast majority of them are going to fail. The majority of them will fail because they don't have good leadership and management. And so you've got to show that you are better than everyone else, and you're more committed than anyone else. Because the guy that's only half committed is not going to make it. And the VCs and the investors know that. You're swimming upstream, so you got to show that you're faster than the stream. Otherwise, you're not going to let the job.
Okay.
And so that's good.
Any questions, Lester?
What can I think of?
You don't have to have it. It's not required. I was just giving you the opportunity.
Water already.
No. As I say, as you all pointed out, I'm a little bit unfocused in, what I want to do and where I want to go, and that's partly why I'm here, actually, to learn a bit about this kind of stuff.
What I would do is I would take a couple of people from this, for instance, greater than Northern, find some people you trust who you think give advice, and I will sit down with them and say, what are the pros and cons of each of these different paths, and what paths are realistically open to a business like this.
But do it with somebody who's got some business experience.
Right, but also to be able to say, okay, well, look, a reagent, maybe the reagents that I'm in, what does it take to develop new reagents? What is the revenue potential for a reagent? I know everyone's not the same, but start to think about what the size of the business is and whether it does have the potential to be big or small. And you do the same sort of thought process for you as an individual. whether you are comfortable with the pros and cons of each, and if all four boxes check, you can pick one. If either you or the business doesn't have the potential to be a $50 to $100 million business realistically, then your future's kind of made. You just hope that you can align with that box. So, but I think you take those people, you use their experience to guide you to see what the possibilities are, and then come to your decision.
Right, okay.
I don't know if it could be a big business or not. I think it's a great business for you to own and grow, but if it does have the potential to be big, then it's another option to run it.
Right.
And your pictures are very cool. Why can't we do copyright? Why not copyright?
I don't know really. I mean, copywriting is better than nothing though, isn't it? I mean, you just
Well, it
write
says
the right way.
Well, it says that if you've got people putting on the trade shows, they have to have your permission, and you can charge them, or if they're on their website or whatever else. I don't know.
You can at least make them have your website.
Yeah.
You're familiar with what they did at FSU, right? With the MAD, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving, where they took pictures under the electron microscope, and they put the images on ties and on boxers, and they then did a deal with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, promoted it, and sold those images, and got the revenues all went back to.
That's this guy Michael Davidson, isn't it? I think he's the head of
Company
the.
called Bed Shops.
Bed shops, bed shops.
Beverage, bed shop.
I mean, those are amazing images. They're gorgeous.
Well, there's this guy Michael Davidson. He runs the, I guess it's the optical microscopy facility
I
at
think it
FSU.
is.
And I've never met the guy, but I've been contacting him by email. And I should find out about that.
Well, and if you want, the tech transfer director at FSU is a friend of mine. So send me an email, I'll be happy to make the introduction via email. You can ask him about how that all came about.
And the thing about, when I go to a meeting, seeing my pictures on other people, other companies, booths and stuff, basically, as an OEM supplier, what they do is they get my material and they pull my label off and put their label on it. Charge like twice as much.
See, that's,
Well, for the huge value add that they add to getting your product in the hands of someone who can use it will be their logic.
Right.
that's such a powerful marketing tool for you. That's the value that's potentially there for you.
Well, up to now, I've been happy enough to just give them images, which they then, helps their sales of my stuff. But, that might change. So.
All right.
Correct?
Thank you, Jerry.
All right,
I
thank
have
you.
your image, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
He's gonna go steal them.
I'm setting up for a new office, looking for art on the wall. I would love to have some of those to hang out. That would be very cool. Yeah.
Do you think I should start?
Is that?
Oh, I've been fractured. Yeah.
You guys do fracture.
Actually, that's a good idea. We've been looking for some images.
We actually have some
Why
images.
don't you give them someone else's stuff for your office, you mean?
I'm talking about the innovation hub. I love to see those up on
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
Why on fracture? Why not just
Just because it's another thing.
Because I work at the university, and the university does not allow us to pay to frame anything. However, if I use a fracture technology, I can get by with it. But you didn't hear it from me. Ooh, that's not on record.
you don't have to tell us.
Oh, well,
That would be
I think so, just in case the next person doesn't know.
oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that belongs here anyway, right?
Yeah, I'll leave it
Yeah.
just in case the next one. Now we're still in 31 updates.
Typical PC.
All right.
Don't forget your thumb drive.
We're going to do a bio break.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks very much.
I'm trying to work out where I've seen you present before, because I've definitely seen you present before.
I don't think you've been to any of our boot camps or anything either, have you?
I went to one year, not 10 years ago.
Wow.
Since. It's just somebody who looks like me.
It sounds like you.
A lot of us drips around,
All right, continue, Jerry.
Yeah,
Take care.
I think it might be, I don't know who's going to win this, full presentation this afternoon, but I'd be reluctant to push somebody else out who's more, likely to actually raise some money.
Leave that to us.
We want to see somebody's going to win.